Hey y'all, Natalie here, Knits with Horses. I am currently sitting in the car taking a little break. And of course knitting. You know, if I'm sitting, I'm knitting. My breaks are knitting breaks. This is a sweater for my grandson Gage. He keeps saying, "Grandma, I want you to knit me a sweater. Are you knitting me a sweater yet, Grandma?" I said, "No, not yet, but I will." And he said, "Can you make it blue?" And then the next time I saw him, "Grandma, are you knitting my blue sweater yet?" So I'm knitting Gage a blue sweater, but I'll talk more about that in another video, because this one is not actually a knitting video. I'm going to start a new set of videos. I'm still going to be doing the knitting videos. I kind of stopped for a while. I stopped initially because I was really sick for a while this summer, and then all that COPPA stuff started, and I was doing some research about whether or not I would even keep doing the knitting video. I'm starting a new set of videos. They'll be labeled clearly so you'll know if you're getting a knitting video or a homesteading video. I think I've mentioned that we bought 5 acres. I have wanted my whole life to homestead and to go primarily, if not completely, off-grid, and we are finally doing that. I actually tried it in my 30s, had the land, got started. The guy was a crook, and we ended up losing that land, but that was in my early 30s, and it was kind of maybe for the best, because by my late 30s I was completely crippled and laying in bed most of the time, couldn't do hardly anything from autoimmune disease. But that is mostly behind me, although it did bite me in the butt a little bit this summer because I wasn't eating right. But anyway, so we are out here. I'm gonna call this set of videos, it's Never Too Late to Homestead. I think you'll see when it's posted if I stick with that. 90% of the time out here, more than that, 99% of the time out here, it is me, my daughter Jenny, who is currently dying over here in the driver's seat because she's been hauling stuff, and my daughter Harmony. Jenny has a bad back. Harmony has a bad wrist. She actually has a bone disease called Madelung's. So her wrist bones in her left wrist are deformed, and she has to be really careful. She's supposed to wear a brace and stuff, but she primarily does the horse care and some other things that don't require lifting much like heavy lifting. But anyway, 99% of the time it's us. And I mean, I grew up country, and you know, so I'm not completely ignorant of what all it goes into living like this. But I mean, we're rookies. I've been like completely submerging myself in all of the homestead channels that actually provide useful information. I've been watching a lot of those, and I'm super pumped that the Crockers have started another new homestead here, and he's going completely off grid so far. I don't know where he's going with it exactly, but Jason's here in Oklahoma now, just a couple hours away from me, and I love Oklahoma, so I'm kind of excited for him. He seems to be having a really good experience with the people and everything so far, which is not hard to do. Oklahoma's got good people. Of course, Texas does too, and he's from Texas, so I actually thought about doing this in Texas. Anyway, we're going to do a little tour, not of every inch, because it's pretty rough walking around. I'm not in my boots or anything today. We're actually moving the RV out here to start staying out here full time. We'll be completely out. There's no water or electric out here at this point. There used to be, but there's not right now. But we'll be moving the RV out here and staying here full time. We do have a 6,000 watt generator, so don't worry about us. And we've already been hauling water. So I'm just gonna do a little walk around, show y'all what I'm working with here. There's a lot of work to be done. I got this pretty cheap because it had a mobile home on it that burned down, and it was abandoned, and they still had ownership on it, but it was just completely abandoned for like 9 years, and it's been 10 years now, I think, since the fire. Anyway, this is the driveway. Pardon me. This is the driveway where you come in, and reminds me I need to look and see about the mailbox, because I think I need to put a new mailbox on there, but I don't know how it's attached or how easy it'll be to get off of there. I've met the neighbors across the road. They are super nice people, and I've yet to meet them, but the only place beyond me, because this is a dead end, the only people beyond me is the sheriff's deputy and his family. So, good neighbors is a big deal. And I know they have dogs and goats because I've heard them. So, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that out of there. That's maybe I'll just have to figure out some way to put a little door on there. I don't know. Okay. It's like cemented in there. Dang. So that part I'm not gonna try and walk through. It is very uneven and rough and very heavily wooded. It goes you can't see where the road kind of starts to go uphill down there. That's the edge on that side. It's not that far over that way, and there is somebody living in about 5 acres on the other side of me over there. As you can see, we have fairly good steep slope here and a lot of evergreens. My kids came and got Christmas trees here this year, which was pretty fun. I've been taking pallets apart to use the wood over there. Let's see. The driveway is pretty steep, and there was a decent driveway here at one time, you can tell. Right here where it levels off is where I'm going to put the RV for the time being, because there's a creek here. I don't know if it's a creek or a spring. I haven't explored it. There used to be a culvert and a concrete bridge here, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know how the heck you do that. I mean, how does that even happen? Anyway, you can see where the creek goes down, and it goes all the way across the property to the edge on that side. And then over here, it just goes up a little ways. There's a little bit of a run through where the water runs down from this pond up here. But that's pretty murky. I don't know what we'll do with that. That's for quite a ways off in the future. I'm not dealing with that right now. And I just drove something into my shoe. That's part of that former driveway. Way over here. Got some metal roofing to repair the roof on the shed building that is actually still standing. So, let's see, where I'm standing is about the middle, so about as far down as we've come. You go about that far back, and it's already fenced back there. It's fenced on that side. And then right here, right in the middle of the property, is where they had their home that burned. And as you can see, we've already, believe it or not, cleaned up and hauled off a lot of crap. Those will come in handy, let me tell you. And there's actually a lot of tires that I actually have plans for as well. If I get to recognize my dream someday of actually building a from scratch cabin, it's going to be up there. But right here is where we'll put the shed to house conversions that we're going to do. Yeah. Yeah, we do. There's just piles of junk everywhere that needs to be hauled off. And we were busily hauling it all off, little by little. And the transmission went out on my pickup. So I replaced it. $1,700. 6 months later. Transmission went out again. Yes, it's a Dodge. I don't want to hear it. I love Dodge pickups. I just wish they'd fix the dadgum transmission problems. But there's a lot that has to be hauled off here. Jenny, these are my two youngest daughters that are out here with me. And Jenny's going to put her little shed right over there. And there is now talk that probably very soon my son's going to put one right over there. So, and the horse, Rhiannon, had to be put out here rather quickly and unexpectedly, or kind of an emergency. So we threw up a pen. It's not as big as I would like. She's old. My daughter is over 30 and she bought that horse when she was 16. So, she's still rotten as she can be. Aren't you, Rhiannon? Anyway, Cheyenne lost her lease on where she was keeping her unexpectedly. Like, hello, you need to move your horse. How soon? This week. So, Cheyenne and Bonnie came out and did that pen by themselves, and we're gonna go that way and have it about 4 times as big as it is now. And plus Cheyenne's looking for a place in the country, so Rhiannon will go live with them, and then me and Harmony will get horses, a couple of horses. I'd like to get a mule too. Well, Harmony would like to get a mule too. We'll see. We definitely want goats. The electric was out here, but it was damaged in the fire. And where they had dug their trench and put it over to their house, I mean, all the way over to the house, you find little bits and pieces of the wiring and stuff. It's in bad shape. And I think this is where the septic was, and it caved in. So, for the time being, we're going to be using completely non-toxic cleaning supplies that I make. And that's a piece of the trailer skirting all the way over here. I don't know what happened out here. And there's huge piles of junk there behind the shed. The shed roof was damaged on this side, but I'm going to put that metal roofing on there and a gutter and do rain catchment. We're going to use completely non-toxic chemicals and kind of a old school drain system, because I know that I won't be hurting the groundwater or that creek, because we're not going to be putting anything, and we're going to do a composting toilet in the sheds. I hope you all can even hear me with all this wind, but it's Oklahoma. I love that they left all these blocks, because those are in handy for the foundations under the sheds. So up here it levels off quite a bit on the back acre. climb up to it. But this also, as I mentioned, this is Oklahoma, and the high ground is not necessarily where you want to be. We're not in a floodplain here. We're not too far off a keystone, but when we had those horrible floods, I couldn't go down 51 to get into Sand Springs because it was completely flooded. It had neighborhoods flooded. We didn't have nothing up here but some mud anywhere on the place. Muddy as heck, but that was it. But this little clearing is fairly level, and this is where I would really like to put a cabin, but I'll have to put a really good foundation. And we will also eventually be putting in a storm shelter. So that's about all I got the time to do today. I will probably make videos pretty frequently, but bear in mind it's just a fat old lady and a couple of girls that have lives as well, jobs, so they're not able to be out here as much. My son and daughter-in-law have a job. My old grown daughters are single moms with full-time jobs running in 10 directions. And here's our shed. We've been putting some stuff in here that we didn't want to have in the RV when we move it Sunday. But usually this won't be for things like the printer and whatnot. But we already have a composting toilet in there that we've been using for months, and there is no smell. Myths of the stench of a composting toilet are myths. If you're doing it right, it don't stink. Help it. So that's about all I'm gonna really try to do. There's another great big old dump pile about like this one behind the shed too, and there's a nice clearing back there where we're going to probably put some animal pens and stuff for goats. I don't know if we'll do chickens. I have a very specific diet because of my autoimmune disease and some other illnesses that I had that had me crippled, and one of the things I don't eat is eggs. So we'll see. Anyway, welcome to my future homestead, which is currently a hot mess. And the idea of all this work that lays in front of me brings me more joy than I can even express. So I guess I'm just a little bit crazy. Now, I was told by the guy that sold it to me, I didn't take it as gospel because he never did really come out here and do anything with it. But I'm told that that's where the well is. But it's got an electric pump. So until we get the generator out here or the power or something to try and test the pump, he said he was pretty sure the pump was going to have to be replaced. And if it has just sat here for 10 years, it probably is. But dig a whole new well, because that will be a ways off. We got other priorities. We'll just be hauling water and catching rain for quite some time, and I can get that. I've lived in a tent with kids, so I can do this with joy. And I am 57 years old. And I was told when I was 50 that I was supposed to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. That I was going to happen to have my right leg amputated within a couple of years. It's still there. Let me tell you, it is never too late to follow your dream.